Hello everyone, happy Thursday. I love you. And I'm sending you a very big virtual hug wherever you are on the earth plane in this now moment. We are in this together and we get through this. First, quick little message. Second, I wanted to talk about anger. So anger is a consciousness that we call an emotion. And there is nothing wrong with feeling anger, right? It's part of being and standing in a third dimensional field. But what's happening is a lot of us are starting to feel anger right now more and more than we used to. And so I want to describe what anger is as a consciousness, how it moves into our body, how we digest and translate it, and how to move it through, how to navigate anger with more ease and grace. So first, I want you to understand or see, or I encourage you to look at anger as a consciousness like a cloud that's just floating around this third dimensional field that you're standing in. And when we absorb that consciousness, it's very heavy, it's very dense, it spins really slowly, so it moves through your body slowly. And it takes over. So when you feel anger, like all rationale goes out the window, right? Critical thinking kind of goes out the window, the observer goes out the window, and there's all these knee-jerk reactions to respond to the feeling of anger. Anger can also make you feel out of control. It can make you feel like you don't have a choice, and it can make you feel like you're a victim, like somebody's doing these things to you, right? So it's heavy, it's an intense emotion, and we don't like to feel it. But there is nothing wrong with feeling it, and it doesn't mean that you are in lower states of consciousness, okay? It doesn't mean that you're not evolving into higher states of consciousness. It doesn't mean you're not ascending. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you're standing in a physical body, in a third dimensional field, and one of the consciousnesses that you're interacting with is anger. Nothing wrong with it. So there are three ways that we engage with anger. One, there's an external experience that we have that's out of our control. So let's say that you're watching, some event happen on TV, right? And it's creating anger. That's an external experience that's out of your control. You're not a part of it. You don't have a choice. You're just watching it, and it creates anger. The second is an external experience that you are part of. An argument with somebody. Somebody cuts you off when you're driving, getting in a fight or an argument with your loved one, right? Those types of things are external experiences that you do have a choice, you are a part of. And the third is internal experiences that you've had from a past now, trauma, other events that are stored inside your body, okay? We're going to be talking about the first two in this video. External experiences that are happening that you're digesting and experiencing, because that's really a lot of what we're experiencing right now in terms of anger. So here's how I want you to view anger. Here's your physical body, and every external experience you have, every external experience out there, an engagement, an interaction, watching something, reading something, whatever it is, it's external, and it's creating consciousnesses from that experience. And whatever these consciousnesses are, when you interact with that experience, that consciousness moves into your body. So let's say that somebody cuts you off, right? That's an experience, that's an exchange. And there's consciousnesses that are created, because everything's energy. There's consciousnesses that are created from that experience. Those consciousnesses float into, this is how quickly and how amazing it works, it floats into your channel, and you digest and translate that experience, right? And one of the consciousnesses that you may experience from that is anger. So here comes the anger into your body, and you translate it, and all of a sudden within a 2.2 seconds, you're experiencing anger. So literally floating. This is for any experience, you guys. Any external experience you have, it is literally an energetic exchange. Every external experience creates consciousnesses for you to digest in order to understand it. Thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, emotions. Now, with that understanding, I want you to go deeper. Here's your physical body, and it has an energetic field around it, and it's vibrating out a light or a frequency based on the frequency inside your body. So let's say you're holding a high frequency, a lot of high frequency light. And that light, that frequency is pulsing out from your body like a light beam. And somebody cuts you off. And that exchange creates all these consciousnesses: confusion, anger, laughter, whatever it may be, right? These consciousnesses come in. But what happens is, if your body is vibrating out a really high frequency, literally visualize light beaming out from you. And here comes fear coming into your energetic field. What's going to happen is the light that you're emanating out is going to just dissolve it. Almost like take it in and say, come with me, and it just all dissolves it. So as that anger consciousness moves in, it's dissolved with light. So you don't feel the intensity of that anger. Does that make sense? Now let's say you're emanating out not a light, because we're all emanating out light, but the light isn't as bright, i.e. it isn't as high of a frequency. That anger is going to come in and hit it. But the light that you're emanating out may not dissolve a lot of it, right? It may dissolve a third of it. So you do experience some anger. Some anger gets in and you feel it. But what's important about this analogy, and this is actually what happens on an energetic level, is that if you are holding higher states of consciousness throughout your day, the chances of you experiencing anger are going to diminish. And so how do you know if you're holding higher states of consciousness, right? Well, you're going to visualize yourself as this being of light. You're going to remember that the light dissolves anything that comes in that's in a lower consciousness. You're going to have your heart open more, right? So you're just going to be in more of an open-hearted space. More love, more compassion, more empathy. You're going to observe in every now. You're always observing. You're never the victim. So you're always observing. Observing. That way, when you have an experience, you're like, oh, this is a consciousness coming in. I wonder what my frequency is, right? Oh, my frequency isn't too high right now because I felt that anger, but I only felt that anger 3/4 of the amount, right? You're observing everything. You are not it. You're not the anger. And you're allowing all the experiences to be had. It just is an experience. You're not trying to step away from what's happening. You're not trying to change anything, right? So that's one way to look at this. When I'm in a higher state of consciousness, my light goes out and it can literally dissolve it. And I stay in these higher states of consciousness by remembering who I am, by remembering that I'm light, that I remember that I have a choice to choose in every now moment, opening my heart open more and more and more, meaning more love, more compassion, more empathy, and being the observer over and over and over again. Now, let's say, for many of us, we don't always do that. We can't always stay in these higher states of consciousness, right? It was an important analogy, and it's important to understand that's what happens. But for those of us that are like, screw that, I'm angry a lot right now. Fabulous. Here's what we want to remember. Anger is yours and yours alone. Especially if you realize that two people can be sitting in a car. Somebody can cut them off. One person's going to get angry and one isn't. So if you are experiencing anger, it is your anger. It's yours and yours alone to feel, okay? And you are in your own little world. And so when you feel anger and you want to throw it back on somebody, you're just perpetuating that anger. And perpetuating that anger keeps it inside of you longer. So no one gave you that anger, right? No one caused that anger, even though you could say, yeah, that person caused it. Well, no, because the person next to you didn't feel the anger, right? So what caused the anger is the frequency that your body's holding and the external experience, not the person. Hard to conceptualize, hard to hold, but that's actually on an energetic level what's happening. So first, no one is giving you anger. It's just the experience that you're having. It's yours and yours alone, okay? The second thing is that you're not a victim to the anger. You're not a victim to this. It's just consciousness being felt. So it doesn't control you. It doesn't control you. The third thing, it's not meant for anyone but you. It's not meant for anyone but you. So if you get into an argument with somebody and all of a sudden you find yourself in that cycle of arguing, just be aware of that. Just observe the fact that you are now throwing the anger back on them because they deserve it, right? You're arguing, debating. Just observe that. observe that you're throwing it back. And then recognize that we are two energetic beings having an energetic experience. And based on this energetic experience, I'm feeling anger right now. And I'm throwing it back on them. And the anger I'm feeling is mine. It's inside me. It's inside my body. What am I on? 1, 2, 3. I don't even know what number I'm on. Then you want to observe it. You just want to observe. You want to observe where it came from. What caused the anger? The argument. Okay, so the argument caused the anger. The anger is now inside of me. It's the cloud. I'm going to feel it and observe the feeling. And then I'm going to choose the response I'm going to have, if any. So let me go over these steps again. 1, anger is yours and yours alone. Okay? No one gave it to you. Even though you'll say, yes, this person did. No. It's how you received it. It's how you respond. It's how you pulled it in. Okay? 2, you're not a victim to anger. You're not a victim to anger. 3, it's not meant for anyone but you. So when you feel the anger, it's yours. It's yours alone. It's not meant to be thrown back on someone unless you want to, and then go ahead. 4, observe where the anger came from. Observe the catalyst. What caused the anger? 5, feel the anger and observe the feeling. I'm not anger. I'm not anger. I'm not anger. And 6, choose if and how you want to respond. Choose if and how you want to respond. So as you continue to perhaps feel anger throughout your now moments, see it as an external experience that is creating all kinds of consciousnesses. You are absorbing that consciousness, translating and dissecting it. And one of those consciousnesses you may feel is anger. No one is doing this to me. I am experiencing anger inside of me, right? I am not the anger. And it's not meant to be regurgitated and thrown back out. Where did the anger come from? What caused it? Oh, me watching this person on television, right? Great. I'm feeling that anger. Here it goes. I'm observing the feeling of it. Our knee-jerk reaction may be to throw it back on them. Just observe that. Maybe it feels good to do that, but just observe it. And then choose how you want to respond with it. Meaning, do you want to respond or do you want to just allow it to move through you? The more we become the observer of anger, the easier it is to allow anger to just be and to move through us. Remember, anger is such a potent, powerful, intense consciousness that it makes us feel out of control. It makes us feel like we don't have a choice. And it gives us this knee-jerk reaction of needing to throw it back, regurgitate it back to somebody, throw it on them. Nothing wrong with that, but can we start to observe that this is what anger does? And we have a choice as to how we want to experience anger when it moves into our bodies. And the more you do those 6 steps, the easier it will be. I'll do the 6 steps one more time. I have 1 minute left. Anger is yours and yours alone. It's no one else's. It's in your body. You're not the victim to anger. You're not the victim to anger. No one gave it to you. You're experiencing it. And now you get to choose how you're going to move through it. 3, it's not meant for anyone but you, unless you want to throw it back on someone. 4, observe the catalyst. Where did it come from? What experience created it? 5, feel it. Observe the feeling. And 6, choose how you want to respond, if you respond at all. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Nothing wrong with anger. There will be a now moment where we will not be feeling anger any longer. I love you.